Hello YouTube. My name is Mel from Mel's Paper Makes. I'm a 25-year-old cash stuffer and budgeter here. And today I want to go over my debt confessions and also an emergency fund update. So on my channel, I share my budgeting, my monthly budgets, what I do with my bonuses, how I contribute towards my retirement, my spending, and my goals for 2025. But I haven't shown y'all what my debt is. And I feel like this is important to share because it is another piece of my financial picture. So this is something that I will be sharing with y'all. And I also want to update my emergency fund because I want to make sure that it is still healthy and it still covers me for 3 months if I lose my job because my numbers have changed. Not a ton, but just enough to make me want to go through my numbers and make sure that the $10,010 is still a healthy amount. But a little bit of background, I am 25 years old, I am an engineer, and some of my goals are to pay off my car loan, to pay down my student loan number 5, down to $5,000, to contribute towards retirement, both my Roth IRA and a brokerage, and to make sure that I meet my spending goals like going to races and going to my friend's wedding and maybe possibly travel, but making sure that I don't incur any credit card interest because as you can see, I only have 6 loans here and I do not have any credit card debt. And I want to keep it that way. So that's a little bit about me. Let's go ahead and zoom into my loan table. Oh, I did forget to mention, as you can see here, I have the description, my starting. I have 2 interest rate columns, which I will explain in a little bit. The minimum monthly payments, oops, that's incorrect. My 2025 starting point, and I do have all of my months, but it makes the table really long, so I just truncated it to the first 6 months, and I have the difference here, which will be the difference from the start of the year to the end of the year, and it will show me how much I put towards that loan, including interest and principal, because I don't know how to just put well, I do know, but I don't. It'll just show how much I have made that number change by. And at the bottom, I have the total amounts for all of my loans and the change per month. I'll be updating this every single month, but I will be updating YouTube every single quarter just because I think my situation is a little bit boring and y'all might not want to see my month to month change. Maybe a quarter to quarter change might be different, but who knows, maybe that frequency might be a little bit different, but that's just where I will be starting. So if this is something you're interested in, please consider subscribing and liking and maybe drop a comment if you want. Okay, so my first 4 loans are under my name and they are for my 4 years of engineering school. My first loan, so basically I had one loan every single year. My first loan, $5,850. Second one, $65,7307. Then it is $7,500. Wait, I should go this way. The interest rate for student loan number 1, sorry for me jumping around, 5.05, and the minimum is 62.6. Student loan interest rate number 2 is 4.53, and the minimum is 68.68. Number 3 is 2.73, minimum monthly 72.09. Student loan number 4, same as 3, 7,500 at 3.75, and the minimum is 75.5. So as you can see, my first 4 student loans are at $27,423.07, and my minimum monthly payment is $278.87. At the start of 2024, this is what my budget included. I actually bumped up this number to 280 just so I have nice even round numbers. But halfway through the year, I started taking on my dad's Parent Plus loans. So my dad took out Parent Plus loans for me for school, and I am so grateful for him. And I'm just so grateful that he did that for me. He did not have to do that. I could have taken it on, but he is just a really nice and kind man. And I, halfway through the year, I was like, why is my dad still paying for this? This is my loan. This was for me. So I am just going to take it on. Doesn't make sense for my dad to be paying it. And when I took it on, I took that starting amount to be the starting point for me. So that is $10,019.11. And guys, the interest rate for this is really high at 7.08%. The minimum monthly payment for this was $142.54. So that jumped up my totals for everything. My total was $37,000 and $400 for my minimum monthly payment. But I feel like this is an okay amount because when I left school, the projected income I think was like $67,000. And based on the Money Guy rule, they are a channel here on YouTube. They said that your student loan amount should be under your projected earnings for the first year. So the projected earning was $67,000 and $37,000 is a lot lower than that. So I felt fine with this total just because I would make more than that in my first year, and it's just something that I will be able to handle and pay it off in a respectable amount of time. And my minimum monthlies is doable for me. The reason why I have a second interest rate column here, is because if you sign up for auto enrollment, auto enroll your payments, sorry, then you can take off 0.25% from your interest rates. So obviously I did that, and it dropped my interest rates down to 4.8, then 4.28, 2.5, 3.48, and 6.83. So this one is still really high, but it's better than 7%. So I will take that any day. And finally, I have my car loan. My lovely car, Claudia. She is a 10-year-old Toyota Corolla, and she has been treating me very nicely so far. I got her in April of 2023. I needed a car out of college. I had been borrowing a car from my parents, and they needed it back. So they were lending it to me to make sure that I have saved up a little bit of money for my down payment. And honestly, I wasn't as financially literate back then as I am now, but my car loan is at $13,826. So that is a chunky amount. And my interest rate is at 7.99%. But thankfully, this is actually through my credit union, and they have a promo saying that if you have a bank account with them, then that means your interest rate can drop down by 0.5. So I am rocking a 7.49, which is still really high, but that's totally okay. And my minimum monthly is 351 cents. So in total, I have $51,268.18 in debt, and my minimum monthlies are $721.92. I will say, remember my goals, I want to pay this off. The starting amount for 2025 shows me that it's very, very doable. And once I do that, I am going to be tackling student loan number 5. I also did forget to mention, these are all government student loans. So I forgot that little tidbit. But my goal is to pay off this loan first, then I will tackle based on the avalanche method, so the highest interest rate. So this, 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 and this. I'm pretty sure I will just do minimum monthly payment. And how I define high interest, so I will knock out my high interest loans first, and then just do minimum monthly payments for my lower interest. And how I define high interest is whatever is larger than my high yield savings interest. So I currently bank with SoFi and I have a 4.0 APY. So to me, these and these are high interest because they are greater than the 4.0 in my high yield savings. So I'm going to be knocking these one out, and I will be doing the minimum monthly payment for these. But who knows? Maybe I want to get rid of them ASAP. But for now, that is my plan. Now let's figure out how I will be starting 2025. So for student loan number 1, 5104 and 34. Student loan number 2, 5,767 and 37 cents. Student loan number 3, $6,520 and 69 cents. Then we go to 6,554 and 47 cents. Student loan number 5 is at 9,476 and 66 cents. And finally, my lovely car, Claudia, I'm really proud of this one, is down to $3,996 and 69 cents. So I can definitely knock this out. I will be completing this goal or completing this loan at the end of the year or before the end of the year. And I will be getting this down to $5,000 at the end of the year as well. So this is all really exciting. And as you can see, at the start of 2025, I only have $37,420 and 22 cents in debt. And up until this point, I have paid $13,847 and 96 cents towards my debt, which is just really exciting to see. So they've all started at different points, but up until now, 13,000, almost 14,000, which is really, really exciting. And once this goes down, then my numbers here will start to drastically change. And I'm looking very much forward to that. So that kind of does it for my debt. I will now go on to my emergency fund. So as you can see here, I have $10,010 in my emergency fund. The $10 is just because I budgeted wrong. I really do just need to move that somewhere else. But let me go over this table. These are my essentials, and it will calculate, I'll enter in my amounts for the 1 month, and it'll calculate everything for the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 12 months. So my goal is to have enough money to meet my necessities for 3 months. In the future, I will want to increase this, but 3 months right now is really good for me because I still have high interest debt that I want to meet or want to get rid of before I start beefing up my emergency fund. So at the beginning of 2024, at the end of March 2024, that's when I fully funded this, but my numbers have changed since 2024, and I will go over those right now just to do a quick recap. My rent was $1,680. This is my rent, parking, some utilities, and insurance. Internet was at $40. Electric was at $50, the average. My phone, I pay this to my parents, is $60. Car loan, I'm going to round this to $301. Car insurance is $100. And I will say car insurance I pay every 6 months, and it is around $600. So that's how I came up with $100, but I do pay for car insurance every 6 months. My student loan was at $280 because at the beginning of the year, I only had the first 4 student loans. And then groceries, at the beginning of the year, I had a lot of food in the freezer, and I was still doing meal prep, shopping at Aldi and such, but I was like the meat and the protein was coming from my freezer. My parents really like to make sure I am well stocked, but now I'm like, guys, please let me fill my own freezer. So back then, my groceries were $35 a month, and that was $140 every single month. And then my gas was $100. because my commute was a little bit longer, and I was thinking I'll keep the same amount of commute just because I'm going to assume that I am driving around a lot if I have lost my job. So this is my totals for everything. In my emergency fund before, I treated it as income replacement. So if I got laid off, which I did, then I can rely on my emergency fund to keep me afloat for at least 3 months. And as you can see here, for 3 months, it was $8,253, but I wanted to round this up just so I have a nicer number. So I rounded that up, to $10,000. And I'm gonna copy this here just because my numbers have changed and I want y'all to see the difference between the two numbers. So now my rent has increased to $1,730. Internet is still $40. Electric, I've increased this to $60 because my electric bill has gone up just a little. Phone is still $60. Thank you to my parents. Car loan is at $301. Car insurance is still at $100. My student loan, now that I've picked up my dad's Parent Plus loan, is at $425. And then groceries is now $50 a week. And this is now at $200. Gas is at $100 as well. So, oh, and I wanted to add a little bit of a buffer just in case I needed to go to the doctor's. So $50 there. So as you can see, there is quite a bit of a difference here, just around $900. So not too bad. $10,010 is still a good amount for 3 months. My buffer definitely has gone down just a little bit, but that is okay because my emergency fund will have to change. Well, my amounts will be changing once again because this car loan is soon going to go. So the numbers are going to change once again. So that will just be addressed when the timing happens. But I will like to mention that a month represents 4 weeks. I know based on my budget, there are some months that have 5 weeks. So that's why I wanted to have a little bit of a buffer. But I have this table assuming that each month is only 4 weeks. So 4 cash stuffings in total. But yeah, having an emergency fund really gave me like an insane peace of mind, especially when I was unemployed. I was unemployed in March, and that's when I fully funded my emergency fund to 10K. And it gave me a lot of peace to know that I can take time when making these decisions with my career. So I'm very grateful for myself for making sure that this is healthy. And I'm very glad that I checked this amount just because you never know. You want to make sure that if your numbers change, your emergency fund also changes as well. So this is my, oh, I can't like, this is my update for y'all, my debt update, my debt confessions, as well as an emergency fund update. So I'll try to update this quarterly if there's a big enough change, but it's a little bit boring, but like I said, boring is not bad. This is where I'm starting at the beginning of 2025. I'm really excited to see where I end in 2025. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will do my best, but please note I am not a financial advisor. Please seek professional help if you have financial questions, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.